Hi everyone, it's Theodora, and I'm here with countertenor Ray Chenez to talk about how he's been dealing with the cancellations from COVID-19. Ray is an American countertenor who's been featured as a rising star by Opera News and Rolando Villason's The Stars of Tomorrow. He has sung with Frankfurt Opera, Théâtre Andevine, Opéra Comique, Opéra National de Bordeaux, among many others, and is the winner of the 2014 George London Award. He's a recorded artist with Harmonia Mundi and Ohm's Classics. Thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, I am excited to be on the Theodora Cotterell show. Let's go, baby.
Okay, so I want to talk with you about how you're dealing with all these cancellations, because unfortunately, because of COVID-19, there's no singing, no live singing in any case that's happening. And I know you had an amazing gig coming up with Santa Fe, and I would just love to hear how you're dealing with all of this.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's very disappointing to lose your work, especially when you had very exciting opportunities coming. And for me, I've had two opera productions, complete opera productions that have been lost: The Demon in Nuremberg, and now M. Butterfly in Santa Fe. And of course, it's incredibly disappointing to lose these productions. But the reality is, for artists, the world around us is always changing, and the outside circumstances are always changing. So this is a special situation where all of us have been put out of work, but in the long range of things, all go through periods of difficulty with work for whatever reason. And I think it's important to develop a very strong sense of inner strength, and that we continue as artists and to continue to develop ourselves as artists regardless of what's happening around us, because we are really our own value. So the value you create in yourself is what you have to offer. So personally, when the crash happened and when all of the work started getting canceled, I took a step back, I would say, for a week or so, and just sort of reevaluated things. And then I said, okay, I'm going to start a plan. And I just started singing scales every day, just scales, working on what my teacher told me to do. And I just sang scales for a month, I think, every single day. And my voice strengthened because of it. It became more consistent. And this technical sort of time of technical focus has helped me immensely. So that's the first thing that I started with. And now I'm thinking about, okay, what kind of programs can I put together? And what kind of repertoire that I want to sing can I put together? So there's really an opportunity here for every artist to really decide for themselves what they want to do and what they want to create and manifest for the future. So that's how I'm dealing with it.
I think that's a really great way to go about it, because I believe that because there's such a strong audience out there, people do love opera, that there will continue to be opera, and eventually when things open up, live performance. So now's kind of an ideal time to prepare for the future. Can you be a little bit more specific about what you plan to do during this time off? Like, are you going to do online concerts, that sort of thing?
Yeah, well, I am sort of starting to think about how I can create something specifically for video and online platforms. And I do think that this is something that it is very important right now, because if the theaters remain closed for a long period of time, we don't know how long they will stay open, then people will be very interested to see very high quality digital content. And I say high quality because, of course, it's been very interesting to do these sort of at-home concerts in the quarantine. And I did one myself for a German television network here, which was really cool. But now I think, that everybody's learning new skills, and we have a chance to sort of create sort of really high level professional video things. And I also thought, maybe this will lead to the rebirth of interest in digital content on a purchase level. It could be that people start purchasing digital content again because of this. I don't know.
I don't know either, but I agree with you. I
hope so.
I hope so too. I know that Facebook, there was an article that came out like a week or two ago about Facebook monetizing Facebook Lives, which would be excellent for us in the community. So I think it's really important to think about how we can make good quality things to sell, concerts to sell. I also want to talk briefly about how you're thinking about the financial implications of COVID-19, because I know it's a huge concern for a lot of us out here today.
Yeah, and that's a very good question. I mean, personally, I'm still waiting for the dust to sort of settle on my canceled engagements. Every theater is doing different things regarding how much they're paying, or if they're paying or not paying. So the first thing I did was reevaluate my budget and say, okay, anything I don't need, I'm not buying. So I put food on the list, I put voice lessons on the list, and I'm taking German lessons, again, private lessons online. That went on the list. And then everything else that I don't need has gone off the list for now. So that's the first thing I did. And then beyond that, I prioritize my work first. So I'm going to do whatever I can to have the time to spend on developing my voice, developing my repertoire and new programs. And then hopefully I won't need to, I don't know, work at some other job doing something that I've never done before. But maybe I will. If I have to, then I will do that. So we'll see what happens.
I think we're on the same page. Like, people just like need to keep working. Like, even if you need to get a day job, that's fine. We've all done it before. We've all had to balance singing and making some extra money. So I think it's just important to remember that going forward, you can do both. Don't give up.
Exactly. Absolutely.
So now that we've addressed the unfortunate current situation, I think it's important to keep the future in mind. And that's what I wanted to do with this series is, give the opportunities to singers to prepare for the future so that when things do open up, you can just go in confident and get the jobs that you need. And so I want to talk about something that I know you had to spend a lot of time on, which is getting your visa to be able to work in Germany and now Austria. Can you talk about that process a little bit?
Oh boy, the fun stuff. Here we go. These are my favorite things to do as a singer. I love paperwork. I love visas. I love taxes. These are just the best topics. Thank you so much for asking me that.
You're so welcome.
The best advice I can give is that, if you're an American, for instance, you can come to Europe for 3 months out of 6 months. So that means you could stay for 3 months with no visa, and then you would have to leave for another 3 months, for instance. Now, to get more of a residency permit, you have to check every country's rules are different about what they require. But I would say, the biggest interests are that you have work. That's the first thing. And most of the countries like to see that you work in the country that you're applying to. And there are other options, of course, as well. Some people come and they do a university degree, for instance. Maybe they study at a university. That's a way to get a student visa. And the universities can be very affordable in Europe. So this is an option for young singers. And I would say the way most of my American colleagues have done it, most of them come into Germany on a fach contract. And that, of course, makes it much easier. You have sort of a full-time job. The authorities accept that very easily. But if you're a freelancer like I was, I would say make sure you've got really have some contracts in the future. because the authorities are going to want to see those contracts. And then check the rules very carefully and make sure you can fulfill every little box that you need to tick.
So when you were applying for your visa, did you do it from the States or did you go to Germany first?
The first one I had was in Germany, and I just went directly to Germany. And because you had to have an apartment, you had to have health insurance, you had to have work. So in a way, you have to be there to apply, because you have to get all of these things together. So I did have some contracts in Germany for opera productions upcoming. So that was very helpful when I went there.
And did you use a lawyer to get the visa, or is it a doable thing on your own?
Most people seem to do it on their own. And I would say, if you can manage it on your own, do it. But if you have the means to hire an immigration lawyer, that's another possibility that may save you stress.
Okay, great, thank you. I do have one more question about traveling, because since you are a freelance artist, you travel quite a bit, and I want to know, do you have any tips and tricks for the singers out there who will end up having to travel again once this is all over?
Well, the first thing I do if I'm going to an opera production is I move into my apartment. So I come in, I check the whole place out, I arrange the kitchen how I want it, I put my clothes in the closets, and I set it up like, okay, this is my home. So that's something I do. And for me, I do a lot of yoga. So I bring my mat with me. And so I have some capacity to exercise and stretch and take care of my body. And of course, I would say learn to cook. That's a good skill, because when you're in lots of different places, you want to take care of your body and you don't want to just eat out all the time. So that's another thing I would say is important. And yeah, make yourself at home. You have to find the things that you need, that make you happy, that make you comfortable in all of these different places, and to, find your sense of inner peace through it all.
Awesome. So now I'm at the point of the interview where I like to ask my favorite questions. What advice do you have to your younger self?
My younger self, I would tell my younger self, don't worry so much, worry less, just do it, and accept your strengths and your weaknesses, and be yourself, because every artist is his own artist. And if you get up and show people the special things that you do, and the quicker you can figure out the special things that you do, the more success you're going to have, and the much quicker success you're going to have. So those are the big would tell my younger self: go for it, don't be afraid, be yourself, be your own artist, and don't worry about the things that don't work out, because there's a lot that doesn't work out. In fact, especially at the beginning, there's way more that doesn't work out than does work out. And focus on the things that do work out, because when you have good things going, focus on those and take advantage of those things.
Do you have any advice for the young artists of today?
Yes, I do. And I would say singing is as much of a mental game as it is a physical game. So I would say to every young singer, start with your mental training, because we can drive ourselves totally crazy worrying about what's coming out, worrying about what people think. And to develop this strong sense of inner peace and mental training, that we can focus on what we need to do rather than focus on the judgment of others. And that would be my biggest piece of advice. Oh, and you must continue to take voice lessons and study for your entire career. That does not stop. That's the other thing that I would say. Always keep training, always keep working on your improvement. And I can say that the best singers in the world and the best singers that I've sung with are still working with teachers, even at the end of their career, in the middle of their career. And this is so important, to find the people that can help you, and not only just teachers, but who are your coaches, who are your support team. It's a bit like after you leave the university, then you get to pick your own people that are going to be sort of your team that will help you and guide you, that you can trust, and never stop the development process. It's always going forward.
Ray, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun, even in these trying times. So thank you.
Thank you. This has been the best interview of my life.
For those of you at home, go check out Ray's YouTube channel, and if you want to read more about him, visit his website, www.raychenez.com, and his Instagram handle is RayChenezCT. So before I sign off, I really just want to stress that it is my belief that opera will never die. People love opera. I urge you to not lose hope and try and use this time to better yourself as an artist, so that when things do reopen, you're ready and prepared and you kill it and you get all the jobs that maybe you weren't even getting beforehand. I just also want to urge you, if you are feeling lonely and a little bit sad and depressed about the situation, which is more than justifiable, you know, there's so many resources out there. Reach out to people you love and care about and who love and care about you. And if you don't know who to reach out to, please feel free to reach out to me. So with that in mind, I am going to continue this interview series with the information that people have at hand, because that's all we know for right now. So join me next week as I talk with Russ Anderson about self-filming, which I think will become more and more important. If you liked this video, please subscribe to my channel, and if you have questions you'd like me to ask in the future, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you join us next week.